If you're unfamiliar, this is Jarrin Jackson. He's running for Senate in Oklahoma right now, state Senate, and he has a chance of winning. There is nothing in this guy's head but propaganda, and if you need evidence of that, let me give it to you. This was his campaign ad, late March 2022.
We are at war with communism, or I should say communism is at war with us. This war is designed to not look like a war. They're coming for our kids. They've destroyed the economy. They've hostaged the government. I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I believe that the gospel of Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation. I also think it's the only way we overcome. I think it's the way that we win.
Think you could put a wind filter on that thing there, buddy?
I know it's the way that we win. I'm running for state...
Dude, this guy is sharpening that knife incorrectly. I know this is a little thing, but this is bothering me a little bit.
The way that we win. I know it's the way that we win. I'm running...
He's doing it wrong.
For state senate, and on June 28th, I'd like to ask for your vote and for you to unleash me.
I don't know, maybe that's a different type of sharpener than I've used before. I've used sharpening stones and other types of sharpeners, and I've never done it that way before, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just not familiar with that knife design. Anyway, point is, there's nothing in this guy's head but propaganda. Seriously. Nothing in this guy's head but propaganda. Unfortunately, at this time when this ad came out or whatever, he didn't have much funding yet because he was still in a primary race against other Republicans, and nobody really knew if he was going to win or what. So no one was really donating yet. And then he won. He won his primary. So now he's going to be going up against a Democrat in Oklahoma for the state Senate. That's deeply concerning. Deeply, deeply concerning stuff. This guy has real issues, and I'll show you what those issues are in a second. He's been making the rounds on all kinds of podcasts and stuff since he won his primary. Oh, I think I forgot to mention, he is a social media figure also, like me, like I'm a social media figure. I have a YouTube channel. He has a Telegram. His Telegram is 87,780 subbies currently at this moment. I follow him on Telegram and all the crazy things he says. Anyways, that's huge for Telegram. That is massive. Oh my God, is that huge for Telegram? Telegram is not really a massively used platform. YouTube is the second most visited website on the entire internet or something like that. Telegram is tiny compared to YouTube. The fact that he has 87,000 subbies on there, you can probably multiply that by 10 and assume that he has a roughly comparable, that is a roughly comparable value to the size of the YouTube channel that he would have if he had a YouTube channel. He's huge. He's really, really big on Telegram. Another Telegram person I follow is Stu Peters. He's got 314,000 subbies on Telegram. That's massive. Oh my God, is that big. So anyway, back to Jarrin Jackson here. He's been making his rounds on podcasts, TV shows, all of it, trying to get the word out, trying to get people to vote for him. I don't really know why he's bothering, since, all this voting stuff is fraudulent anyways in his head, right? Obviously it's not, but he thinks it is. So he goes on this podcast here, mid-August 2022. He goes on there to tell people about his policy goals and beliefs and what he intends to do when he gets into office. And it gets nutty. Listen to this.
My strategic mission is to shift the Overton window to include the gospel of Jesus Christ. If politics is an arena.
Okay, let me explain what the Overton window is in case you haven't heard of this. It's the window of acceptable public discourse. So 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, it was unacceptable for people to talk about fraudulent elections. If Obama had come out and started screaming about fraudulent elections, nobody would have even been listening. Nobody would have cared because it was ridiculous then. But over the course of a couple of years, particularly since 2020, Donald Trump has slowly but surely pushed the Overton window further and further toward election fraud. He started this whole process back in 2016, actually, when he claimed that Hillary was busing in illegal immigrants, quote unquote, to vote for her. Like, there's no basis for any of these claims, but you just plant that seed and you keep watering it. Just keep saying this stuff over and over and over again, and eventually it becomes acceptable public discourse. So that's the Overton window. Right now, the idea of communism, the concept of communism, is not an acceptable thing in public political discourse today in America. Like, nobody is taking communism seriously as an idea. But Republicans screaming about communism being evil, that is in the Overton window. That is something they do constantly. So they've slowly but surely been shifting the Overton window further and further and further to the right, toward authoritarianism. And that's exactly what Jarrin Jackson is trying to do now. He wants to shift it even further than that. Apparently, he thinks that it's not okay to be Christian, I guess. He's telling us he wants to make Christianity part of the Overton window, as if it's not already.
The gospel of Jesus Christ. If politics is an arena, this arena has pushed God out of the picture.
Amen.
In no stretch of the imagination has that happened. Like, not even a little bit.
We have false paradigms, right, left, conservative, liberal, right, Democrat, Republican. That's a false binary. The choice is Christ or chaos.
Woo!
It's Christ or communism.
Whoa.
And so whenever Jesus taught, John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, the life. No one gets to God but by me. People need to know that. Philippians 2, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess. And so my job in this race, not only to defend the Constitution and represent the fine people of this community, I am bringing the gospel directly into politics. I'm doing it with the zeal of a former infantry officer. I'm doing it as a Bible thumper, King James Bible guy, and I'm bringing it right at people in a loving way that brings the truth in direct conflict with the chaos of the day. And I believe that's important. Jesus taught in John 17:17, sanctify them by thy truth. Thy word is truth. People need to know the scriptures. People need to know about Jesus. And there's too many people that have designed our political discourse to push God to the side. My job is to bring him right through the front door.
Okay, no one's trying to push God to the side. They're just trying to respect the fact that we have Muslims and Jains and Sikhs and Buddhists and all kinds of other denominations of all sorts and religions of all sorts in this country. And we all pay taxes to the government, and we all need to be equally and fairly represented. That means Muslims have to have as much say in the government as Christians do, because they pay taxes and we pay taxes. Everybody pays taxes, right? If you don't want them to have a say from a religious perspective, then you can't have a say from a religious perspective either. That's how this works. That is the social contract. But this guy doesn't care. Either he doesn't care or he doesn't get it. I don't know which. The guy doesn't want religious equality. The guy wants religious supremacy, and he's pretty open about that. He wants Christian supremacy, and he wants a Christian nationalist state. I don't know how you can get much clearer. Let me play this one for you. This is a little bit of an older one, late April 2022. It should give you an idea of what kind of a personality he has and what perspective he's looking at things from. Check this out. This was about the mask mandates or people wearing masks or whatever else.
The pro-mask mandate or the anti-mask mandate is still on the same premise that masks are a legitimate, credible, righteous, moral, ethical, justifiably legal thing for people to do.
Wow, that's interesting, because the Bible explicitly tells people if they get sick, wear a face covering over the lower half of your face and quarantine. The Bible says that. It says those words. So I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know what he's thinking, but he is directly contradicting the Bible if he thinks that masks are illegitimate in any way.
They're not, like, at all. Like, that's a non-starter. If God would have wanted us to wear masks, he would have had Jarrin come out of the womb and you come out of the womb with with the mask on, a 3M mask on. We would have had what's that called? We would have had we would have already had the masks. Amen. That's how I see it.
Can I take that to mean that you were wearing overalls when you came out of the womb? Like, I would love it if that were actually true. That'd be hilarious. Let me give a little background on this. This next one is about the Mar-a-Lago search. If you haven't heard about this or you're watching this 5 years in the future, just give you a 30-second explanation. Donald Trump stole the most classified documents in existence, basically. TS/SCI. Real shit. Stuff that's not supposed to leave fortified bunkers kind of thing, right? He took them to his mansion, his Mar-a-Lago mansion, and the FBI basically went in and searched his house to get them back, and he threw a complete fit over the fact that he couldn't keep these top secret documents in the pool house next to the towels. So Jarrin Jackson is extremely upset over the fact that the FBI went in to get the top secret documents back from Donald Trump that he shouldn't have had in the first place. This one's August 15th, 2022. Listen to how Jarrin Jackson melts down over it.
So they raid Trump on Monday. Talk about it all throughout the week. No patriots are rising up. No violence is happening. And all of a sudden, this happens at the U.S. Capitol.
The Fox News alert, Capitol Police say early this morning.
Oh, by the way, the name of this video that he released was something like False Flags or Don't Be Part of False Flags or something like that. I don't remember.
The Fox News alert, Capitol Police say early this morning, a man drove his car into a vehicle barricade at the U.S. Capitol. They say when he moved to get out of the car, it became engulfed in flames, and then he fired several shots in the air. Officers then tried to approach the man when he fatally shot himself. Nobody else was hurt. Police say it does not appear the man was targeting any members of Congress who are currently on recess.
Oh, how convenient. You raid President Trump with the unconstitutional police force.
It was not unconstitutional. It was completely within the bounds of the Constitution. They got a legal search warrant that was signed by a judge. Everything was completely above board for this whole FBI search. But okay, keep going. Keep telling yourself it was unconstitutional.
The unconstitutional police force. You invade his home to try to set him up for an indictment so he can't run again because you're scared of him and you know that we, the people, want him instead of your godless commie options.
Okay, interesting. First of all, there is not one single politician in the entire United States that is godless or commie. I don't know, there may be one politician who claims to be an atheist, but it's actually illegal for atheists to run in a whole bunch of states, surprisingly. But that's neither here nor there. What he said there at the end, listen to this again.
You can't run again because you're scared of him and you know that...
Yeah, I don't think I'm afraid of Donald Trump running again, honestly. In fact, I think it would be, well, it would be bad for democracy, but it would be good for Democrats. There is no chance Donald Trump's going to win. We found out that Liz Cheney lost her election recently, okay? Liz Cheney is the model of somebody who hates Donald Trump, but is the perfect Republican. She voted with him like 90-something% of the time, but she hates him. She's trying to get him put in jail, basically, because of what he did, because of the January 6th stuff and other things. Right? So she had her primary recently in Wyoming, I think. I'm not sure exactly where she's from. Yeah, it was Wyoming. That's where she was from. She got 29% of the vote. Harriet Hagman got 66% of the vote, okay? That's a huge difference, a huge difference. The only difference between Liz Cheney and Harriet Hagman is the fact that Liz Cheney doesn't like Donald Trump. Harriet Hagman does. That is it. That's the only difference, okay? But think about this. I don't think this is as big of a victory as Donald Trump thinks it is. 29% of Republicans want Donald Trump put in jail. That's what that vote means. 29% of Republicans want Donald Trump put in jail and will vote for anybody but him or his candidate or whatever. The margin of victory in national elections can come down to, as low as 70,000 votes. Extremely small margins to win the presidency. If 30% are willing to vote against Donald Trump's candidate because they don't like Donald Trump and no other reason, I don't think he's as comfortable as he thinks he is. I don't think his victory is as guaranteed as he believes that it is. Really, I don't. I think Donald Trump running for president is the best thing for the Democrats. Not the best thing for democracy. We know he's going to try to do another January 6th event. We know that. It's a matter of fact. But I don't think there's any chance that he wins in 2024. I really do not. I don't care who's running. I don't think there's any chance he wins. So about Jarrin Jackson here, no, I don't fear Donald Trump running. I really don't.
You know that we, the people, want him instead of your godless commie options. And then whenever you do that, no one responds. There ain't no redneck backcountry hayseed hick farmer that's like, you know what, we better rise up. Get the guns, Bubba, let's go to D.C. Because
there are actually people doing things like that. There are. We have seen multiple domestic terrorist attacks since Trump's house was searched by the FBI. Multiple. Not just one. More than one. So that is actually what's happening.
Because that didn't happen.
Yes, it did.
You gotta provoke it. And so because they lack imagination and they need people to do stuff, maybe they're modeling. They use their false flag federal plants to model what they want other people to do. Hey guys, maybe if we ourselves drive the thing into the barriers, maybe other people will do it because they'll see, well, maybe because we need to do these godless commies, man.
See, this is full-blown conspiracy. I don't know if you heard about it, but at the beginning of the video, he played a Fox News segment where they were talking about a guy ran into the barrier at the Capitol building, I think, and fired off some shots and then checked out, if you will. He's saying that's a false flag. He's saying that was fake. He's saying that it was an FBI plant that did that. That's insane. That is a new level of conspiracy thinking right there. Guy's running for Senate in Oklahoma right now.
These godless commies want a false flag. They wanted, what was it, the day after? There was someone with a nail gun going against the FBI office in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, that's because nail guns are known to be able to penetrate bulletproof glass in some circumstances, in some situations, depending on how powerful the gun is and how weak the glass is and how close you are and things like that. And I think even then it only put a single hole in the glass. Like, it all depends. But yeah, what he's talking about, that's correct. A guy showed up in an FBI field office with a nail gun and an AR-15 and tried to bust through the glass with the nail gun, and it didn't work. He was chased down. Basically, there's a standoff in a cornfield, I think, and it ended as you would expect that it would, sadly.
Because that makes sense. The raid happens in Mar-a-Lago, but then some guy's going to grab a high-capacity nail gun and take it against the FBI in Cincinnati? Are you stupid?
No. He was a Trump supporter. He was willing to do absolutely anything that it took to defend his God Emperor, as they call him, and it ended badly for him. This is the cult that Donald Trump has cultivated. Intentionally, he's done this. He has formed out this cult of personality around himself because this is what he likes, seemingly.
Stupid? These godless commies need people to pay attention, and I argue you'd get better outcomes if you talked about Jesus. People hate Jesus. People hate the gospel.
No, nobody hates Jesus or the gospel. You know what I hate personally? I hate the fact that people are trying to shove it down my throat, trying to impose it on me, to force it on me against my will in public forums. They're trying to make me pay for their stuff with my tax dollars. They're trying to get me to pay for their religious education and things like that with my tax dollars. That's what I hate. So anyway, that's Jarrin Jackson. I found it kind of interesting, though. The guy claimed not too long ago to be nonviolent and said, don't take the bait, and I don't believe in violence. What's violence going to accomplish? And I find that interesting that he said that. I agree with that sentiment. Nonviolence. Violence is not the answer, ever. Period. I know people get upset when I say that, but that's true. That's a factual statement. Violence isn't the answer. But I find that rich coming from Jarrin Jackson. Particularly because, I've been following this guy for a hot minute, since before he was running for Oklahoma Senate. This one's from mid-November 2021. He may have actually been running at this point, but this is him talking to Lynn Wood, which is one of Donald Trump's lawyers. Listen to this.
I've listened to a couple people ask, what do we do? I'm a trigger puller. I want people to dangle. I want justice. I want people to. I want these treasonous criminals to have due process, and I want them to have public executions because I think that would be a great deterrence for future generations. I think we've emasculated the justice system in the sense that we don't actually let people digest the consumption of justice.
Yeah. Jarrin Jackson, running for state senate, has a chance of winning. Claims to be against violence, opposed to violence, and then puts things like that out just a few months ago. Dude's a joke. Dude is a joke, and he needs to lose this election. He needs to lose this election. Oklahoma is already a Christian hellscape. We don't need it to get any worse than it is right now. So if you're in Oklahoma, please, please, please get out there and vote. I think he's running against Jennifer Esau, the Democrat. So it'll be Jennifer Esau versus Jarrin Jackson for District 2 on November 8th, 2022. Get out there and vote like your life depends on it. Okay? This guy is nuts, dude. Guy is nuts. We don't need him in Congress.